Hey, hey! Welcome to another adventure in real estate. Today we have Melvin Woodson with us with Farm Credit. Melvin, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Melvin, of course, works with Farm Credit, and he's no stranger here to this adventure in real estate. But we're going to have Melvin talk to us a little bit today. At least when I think about Farm Credit, I think about farms and land. Right. Large acreage, large tracts of land, whether that be large acreages of timber or whether that's actual cultivated, ready to go tobacco, or you get into corn, soybeans, those kind of things, or even maybe you got it all in grass and we got a cattle farm going. So think about Farm Credit, I think about that. So tell us a little bit, maybe is that a big portion of what Farm Credit does?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Steve. And it's a huge portion of what we do.
Okay.
The farming aspect, so large acreage tracts, whether it's like you said, a timber tract or pasture or row crop, whatever it may be, we finance a lot of that. It's probably the thing we do the most.
Okay.
We can do real estate loans, and there's just a couple of things you have to be aware of when you're looking to finance a larger acreage tract that you may not run into, on a home loan type of scenario.
Sure. Okay. What are those things, Melvin? Tell me. I mean, I know, at least from my own experience when I was younger, went to look at buying just a tract of land, and a couple of banks, they didn't really want to talk to me much about that. It just wasn't what they did.
Right.
What they work with. So obviously that's something Farm Credit does. So. Right. What are some of the specifics maybe we've learned to get into when we talk about land and acreage? Yeah.
So I mean, the main thing, there's probably about three things you got to keep in mind. With land, there's going to be a higher down payment. So you probably want to be prepared when you go to buy land. You're going to need a little bit more money than you did on that home loan. Probably about 20%.
Save got to have a pretty good little stockpile to be able to, depending on the size of the property, obviously. But
that's right.
The more the purchase price, the more we're going to have that stockpile.
That's right. That's right. It's a percentage. Yeah, and so there's no money down loans on land. You've got to have some money put down on those. That's the biggest thing.
Okay.
One thing I do love about Farm Credit, we can do fixed rate terms. Most institutions that finance land won't even finance them on a fixed rate term.
Okay.
You've got a 5-year adjustable, a 7-year adjustable, which for some people that works. But some people want to lock in a rate, especially with the rates being where they are now. They want to lock in these low rates for 20 years, and you can do that with Farm Credit. And then the last, I guess, thing to consider is the credit score requirement. They tend to be a little higher. The minimum credit score requirements tend to be higher when you're talking about land.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Is there a threshold, or you'll talk with anybody, but it really, to get to where they want to go, they're going to have to meet a certain threshold? Is that?
Well, we don't. So the way we do we look holistically, if that makes sense. When we're doing credit, when you're talking about land, so we don't really have a minimum credit score. But I will say this: obviously, you got to have some money down, you got to have some liquid assets. If the more you have of that, the better. If you're weaker in credit, but you've got a good amount of money, you've got good income, it may help offset a weakness in credit score.
Okay.
But even having said that, the goal you probably want to be to give yourself the best opportunity to qualify is about 700.
Okay.
About 700 credit score to give yourself the best opportunity.
All right. Well, that's fair. Yeah. I thinking about land and acreage and so forth. There's just so many different aspects of that, and you talking about going to I think part of what I think is interesting is I think you guys, you're going to want to have an understanding of what someone's going to want to do with that property, right?
That's right.
You're not just going to give me 100 acres or allow me to purchase 100 acres of land out here just on a whim of me saying, well, I just want it.
Yeah.
Unless I got a lot of cash,
right.
I'm probably not going to.
I'm not going to question that much.
Oh goodness.
Well, and you know, to your point, I mean, the main reason, I mean, we certainly want to know, like, what is the purpose of it? You know, you could just buy 100 acres because you like land and you just want to work 100 acres, you know.
Sure.
But you know, the main reason we would ask a lot of times is to see, you know, what other products do we offer that could help you? You know, maybe you need an operating line to buy cattle or buy feed and fertilizer and that kind of thing. So we tend to like to know what the goals are so we can see if there's any way we can help achieve some of those goals.
Sure. Well, and I think, you know, when you're talking about planning a business plan, I'm sure you wouldn't turn one of those down if you got somebody walked in and said, hey, look, here's what I want to do,
right,
and here's what I plan to do with it. Those are always really nice to get, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. The more planning they can do, the easier it makes my job. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Well, Melvin, is there anything else you want to throw out there about land that we didn't cover?
No, I think I would say no, I'm going to start talking, right? I would still say I would treat land kind of like a home. You know, I would always recommend people to get pre-qualified.
Okay.
To buy land. I mean, so if you're going to buy a home loan, the first thing someone like yourself is probably going to say is get yourself pre-qualified.
Yeah, you bet.
I would say the same thing with land. You know, talk to your lender first, find out what the requirements are before you fall in love with a piece of land, and to make sure that you're okay with the terms of that loan.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. No, it's great. I think if you're interested in buying property, whatever kind of property it is, finding a great realtor is a big deal, and then finding a great lender.
That's right.
Those are two really big things that are really important in the overall process and sets you up for success.
That's right. That's right.
It really does. So, well, if you're interested in buying some property, is it pasture to porches? Is that right?
Porches, that's right.
Yeah. So, but I'm sure Melvin at Farm Credit would love to visit with you guys if you're interested in buying land. Reach out and give him a call. And Melvin, thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Steve.
Well, we'll see you next time on another adventure in real estate.